For today, we are working on 8B.6. Okay, we're going to do more of basically exactly what we did yesterday, but they're going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay, so remember, we're solving linear systems by elimination. So, first off, what is a linear systems of equations? Linear means they're going to be what? Lines. Okay, hopefully we can figure that out. Okay, so lines. Anytime it says systems of elimination, systems means how many lines? More than one. Okay, so like 2. And what are we basically trying to figure out here? We're trying to figure out where the systems of equations do what?
Cross.
Where they cross. Okay, so we're figuring out where they cross. So the first step is choose the variables to eliminate and multiply one of the equations by a value so that the coefficients are opposites. Okay, can anyone tell me what is a coefficient? What's a coefficient?
It's a number that's changing.
A coefficient is a number in front of a variable. Okay, so number in front of the variable. And a variable is a letter. Okay, so the number in front of the variable, that's called a coefficient. Oops, sorry, you can't quite see that. Number in front of variable. So, first thing you're going to do is you're going to decide which letter, which variable you'd like to eliminate. So, if we look at these, if I just added these together right now, is anything going to cancel out? No. So, then you need to decide, do you want to cancel out the x's or the y's? And cancel out the x's, right? Right now you have a positive 3 and another positive 3. So if you need them to be opposites of one another, you're going to have to multiply one of them by what? By a negative 1. Does not matter which one. Okay, I'm just going to choose to multiply this one. So that becomes negative. This becomes positive. This becomes positive. That's why I gave you guys different colors so that hopefully it will help you. Then once you know that something will eliminate, you add them together. So negative 3, positive 3. These will eliminate with one another. Positive 2 and positive, what's the coefficient attached to this y?
1.
A 1. Okay, so positive 2, positive 1, add together, it gives you 3y equals positive 2, positive 10 is 12. Then we're going to solve. How do I solve for this? Divide by 3. When you divide by 3, we're going to get that y is equal to 4. I really don't know what these are for, these little lines, so we're just going to ignore them. Okay, so y is equal to 4.
Same thing.
This is the same thing we did yesterday, okay? You're just going to have to multiply by numbers, okay? Sometimes instead of automatically being able to cancel, you're going to have to multiply by something. So once you get that y is equal to 4, you're halfway done. Now, how do I figure out the rest of it?
Plug in.
Plug it in. Does not matter which equation you plug into. I'm going to choose to plug into this one because it looks like it'd be easier. 3x plus, anytime you plug something in, it needs to be in parentheses. So 3x plus 4 is equal to 10. This one, nothing's happening, so you really didn't have to plug in there, okay? But this would be 3x plus 4 is equal to 10. How do I move that 4? Subtract the 4. When you subtract the 4, this leaves us with 3x is equal to 6. Then how do I get x by itself? Divide both sides by 3. And we're going to get x is equal to 2. So what's your actual answer here? 2 comma 4. If you do not write this in a point or in parentheses as a point with a comma in between, it's going to be wrong. Okay, you have to write it as a point. You cannot leave it as x equals 2 and y equals 4. Those are actually lines. So you have to write them as a point. Any questions on how I did that?
No.
Okay, now let's try another one. For example, number 2, we're going to do the same thing. Choose variables to eliminate and multiply one of the equations by a value so that the coefficients are opposites. So the numbers in front are opposites. So here, you want to pick, would you like to eliminate x or y?
X.
Y.
Okay. You want to think about that. You could eliminate x and that would be fine. But the first thing you should look at is, do you have any variables that already have opposite signs here?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the y's. So you already have one positive, one negative. So if you have one positive, one negative, you probably want to pick those because then you're not going to have to multiply by any negatives, okay? Could I change these coefficients to be opposites of one another? Yes. What would you have to multiply by?
By 3.
By 3 on just the first one, okay? Sometimes you have to multiply both equations. Hopefully you only have to multiply one. If you're multiplying by anything other than just a negative, I want you to rewrite it, okay? So you're going to have to distribute here. Distribute means multiply all the way through. 3 times 3x gives you a 9x. 3 times 2y gives you plus 6y is equal to 3 times negative 26. Multiply that out is what? 3 times negative 26.
Negative 70.
Do it on the side of your paper if you need to. Negative 78. Okay. Then we're going to add together our equations. 2x and 9x gives you what?
11.
11x. The y's should cancel, which is what you want. Equals, these are both negatives, so keep your sign. Add and keep the sign. So negative 10 and 78 gives you negative 88. Question? Then, to get x by itself, divide both sides by 11. I promise you that on these answers, they're all going to be nice whole numbers. You're not going to have any fractions and any decimals, okay? It's possible to have fractions and decimals, but for what we're doing right now, you are not going to have any fractions or decimals. Yes, ma'am?
It was 78, not 88.
Negative 10 and negative 78, when you add them together, it becomes negative 88.
Full house.
Yes.
How did you get
Full house.
I multiplied 3 times 26. 3 times 26 is 78. Okay, where'd we get the 3 from? Okay, we decided that we wanted to cancel out the y's. So in order to get 2 to turn into the opposite of 6, you had to multiply by 3. 2 times what gave you, there we go. Now, x is equal to negative 8. How do I solve for y?
Plug in.
Plug in. Now, you can choose to plug into any of these equations. You could choose to plug into this equation, even though it's been changed. Or you can plug into one of the beginning ones. I'm going to choose this one, because it looks like it'd be the easiest. 2, remember, anytime you plug something in, you need to put it in parentheses. So 2 multiplied by negative 8. Be very careful with your positives and negatives here. Minus 6y equals negative 10. 2 times negative 6 is negative 16. Minus 6y equals negative 10. Then add your 16 to both sides. Add 16, these go away. Negative 6y equals negative 10, and positive 16 gives you what?
Positive 6.
Positive 6. Then divide both sides by negative 6. And what's 6 divided by negative 6?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. So the point that these two would cross at would be negative 8, negative 1. Negative 8, negative 1. Okay, you guys have some work to do, okay? You only have 10 problems in class. I am going to help you to do some of them, not all of them, okay? So you're doing 8B.6. If you do not have enough room on this worksheet, you might need to work on a separate worksheet. Okay, if you do have enough room, then that's fine. Some of these you are not going to have to multiply by anything. You can just add them together and something's going to cancel, but not all of them. Okay, so I want you guys to get started on these. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes, and then I will help you if we need them. Okay, so go ahead and get to work, please.